morning, members of the media. Welcome to SAFA House. Good morning to members of staff here in this press conference. And I'd like to introduce the people you see in front of you on the couches. We have the SAFA VP, Mr. Zwane. We have the SAFA CEO, Ms. Lydia Manebal. And on my far right, we have Ms. Indira from Hollywoodbets. And of course, I'd like to also acknowledge SAFA NEC member, Mr. Job. Without further ado, I'll hand over to the CEO to please welcome everybody to SAFA House today.
Okay, it's working. Good morning everyone. My job is easy. I want to start by welcoming everyone to SAFA House. It was just last week that we had some of you here when we made the announcement about the Clive Barker Academy and some coaching courses. So thank you once again for showing up when you got our invitation. We really appreciate the media's attendance whenever we've got special announcements to make, because you are the people that give us publicity in terms of the kind of jobs that we're doing in football. I want to welcome the SAFA Vice President, Mr. Zwane, who's been very supportive, in the absence of Dr. Jordan, who is attending to family matters currently in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha. And welcome Mr. Job Mkunu as well to SAFA House. I don't know if I should be welcoming you because you are home. but a special welcome to Indira. I think our relationship with Hollywoodbets comes a long way, but it's good that we are still continuing on this journey. I said last week that we are in the business of football development. We have to really focus on the building blocks of what makes Banyana and Bafana tick. We should not just focus on the senior men and senior women's national teams, but we should also focus on other areas such as coaching, like you saw last week, but the junior leagues as well. How do we strengthen those so that at the end of the day we can identify the talent that is there that will end up in the Banyana and Bafana national teams, and grow it and build a talent pathway, so to speak, for our players so that they can end up there. It's more of a bottom-up approach, because it's quite imperative that we have strong football development in our various regions. But without getting into the nitty-gritty of it, I will hand over to my Vice President, Mr. Zwane, who can just give us more background in terms of why we are here. But otherwise, everyone, Dinja Dibofilwe, you are welcome at SAFA House as always. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CEO, and greetings to members of the NEC that are here, the staff, Hollywoodbets representatives, and members of the media. I think we are gathered here today to mark a historic moment in the history of South African football, particularly at the grassroots level. So today we are here to announce the exciting news, which has a potential of benefiting. In fact, it's going to benefit the people in the villages, teams or clubs at that level, and our regional associations there. We all are aware that this level of the men's regional league, we had a partner which a contract expired, and ever since we have not had anything. But the leagues and the regions were soldiering on in making sure that football is played at that level. So we are excited that today we have a partner who saw it fit to come on board particularly for our regions and the players in various villages in the country, rural areas, the towns, and the urban areas. So very important is that the investment that is made by Hollywoodbets, it's very important and a milestone for us, because if you don't invest at grassroots level, chances of you having a better Bafana Bafana, a better Banyana Banyana, it's not possible. So we are very much excited that Hollywoodbets had chosen us, particularly on the level in which matters most for the South African football. And this partnership, I think, will move to a direction where we are able now to focus mainly, because football needs funding. And this is part of the way of funding our football at a grassroots level. Our 52 regions are direct beneficiaries, but in the main, these are the clubs that are going to benefit. The clubs, the numbers are very clear that each region should consist of 18 teams, and those are the teams that are going to be benefiting per region. And the Hollywoodbets Men's Regional League, we should be specific around that. It is meant for the Men's Regional League, and Hollywoodbets will be the premier sponsor of that league with the naming rights, and that is why we're calling it the Hollywoodbets Men's Regional League. We have to give our gratitude to Hollywoodbets that they have chosen to invest in South African football, and we know that their footprint is not only on men's, but also on the women's side, which is the Hollywoodbets Super League. So very clear that you have a company that understands that as you taking care of the girl child, you also have to take care of the boy child. So our men's regional league are going to be revived, and I think things are going to change at that level, and we are wishing all the teams that are going to participate as the season is going to begin under a new era of the Hollywoodbets all the best, and we want to welcome Hollywoodbets. They are part of the furniture here at SAFA House, but we want to welcome them again, because the investment and the confidence they have shown to South African Football Association, it's not going unnoticed, and we want to appreciate their investment and their thoughts around this. So mainly we're here today to announce that starting from this season, we're going to have Hollywoodbets being an investor on the regional league for a term of 2 years with an option to renew. So, and we hope that everything is going to go well, so that the time when we are supposed to renew, there are no issues. So that's the little details I can give. And yeah, I think Program Director and the CEO, we want to send our gratitude to Hollywoodbets and the management, and as South African Football Association, we are delighted. And like I always say, that SAFA should be known for football, nothing else. And I think we're going towards that direction, and we're grateful. Thank you very much.
Good morning, SAFA representative, CEO, VP, journalists, media, all protocols observed. I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here today for this announcement. I think the VP and the CEO have alluded to most of my talking points, but basically on behalf of Hollywoodbets and the execs and all the reps, we are delighted to once again get involved with SAFA. We understand the fundamental role in development of football in the country, and I think that this discussion was stretched over a year. So it wasn't something that we had decided obviously overnight, and we felt that it's important for us to uplift the communities that support the brand as well, and we're very entrenched in uplifting the communities. We know that football doesn't necessarily eliminates the social ills that you find in our communities today, but is the vehicle that drives, to the positivity of building these communities. So we are really, really excited for this partnership, and we hope that we can really leverage off it really well, and hopefully that we can we see a lot more scouting opportunities for the youth in these leagues that will be able to be seen, and at the end of it, be able to play for Bafana one day. And also, it's just important as well, we're very entrenched in women's development. I think it's also important that we give, an importance into the men's development side as well. So that's why we had come to the decision to get involved with the men's regional league, knowing that it didn't have a sponsorship for, I think, the two past seasons. So we are very grateful, and we hope that this relationship does stretch many more years to come. So thank you so much.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's what the new kids look like. Right.
Why men's football, when we understand that women's football requires more funding, and also because Hollywoodbets have already made a name for themselves in that space.
Thank you for the question, Raymond. So basically, what I alluded to is we are entrenched in women's football, and it's not going to stop there. These conversations to get involved with the regional league stretched on over a year and a half. So it wasn't something that we decided on doing now, especially now after how well Banyana did and all the developments around women's football. It definitely doesn't stop us from still getting involved with women's football, which are projects that we still looking into, and ongoing discussions are currently being had. So I think just from a development point of view, I think it's important that we also do ensure that we are involved in that, whether it be men's or women's football. So that's particularly why we got involved. It's more the development structure for the growth of the football in the country, but yeah, it doesn't bar the fact that we're not going to get more involved with in the women's space.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I think the very important is that as the association we are engaging potential partners to come on board, and like it has been indicated that this partnership or this process started long ago. So it's just that it has just been concluded now. But it's not something new in the cycles of SAFA. But in the main is that we will continue to engage more corporate to come on board for women football. And there are a number of stages that we wish to work on, particularly on the pipeline for women's football at the grassroots level, at the regional level. And of course, the ultimate is to professionalize women's football. So we are on course. We don't think this is a way of undermining that call to invest in women's football. I think very important is that we had a regional league that was sponsored, and the term of the sponsorship lapsed, and we were negotiating, and in this case, I think Hollywoodbets saw it fit to engage on the male side of football, because they are sponsoring the Hollywoodbets Super League, which is a women's national league. So I think we will continue to engage corporate South Africa to come on board for women's football.
I think maybe then, because VP has said a lot, maybe just how far those engagements are with those other corporates. Right now, all the focus and all the good energy is behind women's football in the country. So I understand that there have been some discussions, but how many discussions with corporates?
Well, look, we have been engaging quite a few people. And like VP is saying, you know, we are not the people that write checks. The corporate world are the ones that at the end of the day issue the checks. And so as far as sponsorship is concerned, we can go out to the market and ask people for sponsorship of the league. I think last time we had SAB sponsoring the men's league, and we had ABSA sponsoring the women's league, and when those two contracts lapsed, we had the Legacy Trust that assisted us for a while, which then eventually, you know, closed down last year, which left a huge gap for us, you know. So it's not like we expected Hollywoodbets or the same company to come on board for the same, well, for both men and women. But you know, I can't disclose the kind of discussions that we're having with different people, and we do have, you know, we've signed quite a different mandates with people that are also assisting us in terms of identifying sponsors that can come on board. So, and it's not only, you know, as we're saying, it's not only about the regional league. We are engaging them about coming on board as well for other projects that we have. You know, we've got the HPC that is also not sponsored. You know, we don't have a sponsor in that for that academy. We're looking for more sponsors to come on board for Banyana, because if we are going to be talking about, you know, closing the gap between Banyana and Bafana, it means we need more sponsors on board for the women's team as well. So there's various projects that we have, and people have seen, you know, the TD has been working tirelessly, you know, in terms of getting more projects for younger for younger players as well, you know, starting with the under going as low as the under 15s now, and in the future we're looking to go down under 13, under 11, because we do appreciate the fact that, you know, identifying talent at under 15 level is just too late, you know. But all in all, you know, as the VP is saying, it's all about the funds that we get into football, but those funds, who are the decision makers? The decision makers are the corporates, but we will continue engaging them to see. But as I said, we can't make a choice in terms of the corporate, which corporate comes on board for what product that we have. But you know, it is our wish that, you know, the women's football is also given the attention that the men's football is also given. Because they also deserve, you know, that you know, space to develop and grow, because a stronger regional league for the women means a stronger SASO league, means a stronger Banyana as well, and also we can identify more players for the Hollywoodbets Super League.
Right. Question for Mr. Zwane. Just a quick one, Mklegas. My name is Kansi Cho from News 24 Sport. Which tier of football is the one that is covered by Hollywoodbets?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think it's it the third division? Fourth. Yes, fourth division, because you have the NFD, then you have your ABC, but then you have the regional league. Yeah.
Thanks, Namsha. To the VP, Just clarity on the selection process of the teams that are going to be taking part. Is it going to be different now that there's a new sponsor? How is that going to be worked around? Thanks.
Well, our rules are very clear that each region must have 18 teams participating in the regional league. And of course, it is those teams that we are talking about. We know that there are various dynamics in various regions, but ours is to stick to what the rules are saying. And of course, the internal arrangement within the regions has to happen, but it's clear we have communicated, and even the amended rules that are coming forth are clear in terms of how we should go about, because sometimes regions will decide to have more streams and all of that, but it's against the rules. So the rules are clear. 18 teams, the regions and the executive have to sit down and decide on how to deal with that matter. But at this level, we are clear on what we do, because the sponsors we engage, they look at our rules. What are our rules saying? They're saying 18. Beyond that, I think it will be outside of what we were supposed to, what is supposed to be provided. So I think it's at the level of the regions to then mend their ways in terms of having 18 teams. And of course, in the 18 teams, post-COVID, we still know that they still play on 2 streams or something like that. So we appreciate that fact, but those teams must make 18 in number. Thank you.
Any questions?
Yeah, welcome, Abiba. Advantage. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Abiba from Sokala Duma. My question is directed to the DG. How much is at stake from the sponsorship, and how will that money be used to benefit the teams in the regional leagues? Because in the past we've seen teams struggling, you know, they have to use their own transport, they have to pay their own revenues, and where does the money go to actually? How is the money going to benefit the teams?
Okay. No, thank you very much. I think in terms of the how much we have signed a confidentiality clause with the sponsor not to disclose. That's the first part. The second issue is that firstly we are providing jerseys, like you have seen the gentleman that came before us here, and the money, of course, it's all about the prize monies after they have played and all of that. So in the main, teams will play, and in the quest of playing and want to achieve certain positions in the league, then they will be paid in terms of the prizes. How that will be determined, how much it is going to be. So teams are going to benefit out of this process through prize monies, which comes of course at the end of the season.
Thank you so much. My name is Katleho from Zwane TV. My question will be on Hollywood. In terms of allocations of kits, will each team receive one kit, or are they going to receive an away kit as well as a home kit? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the question. So I think what VP had alluded to, each region is meant to have 18 teams. So the contract stipulates that we assist the 18 teams per region with one kit. And then the second kit is up to the discretion of the teams.
My name is Tembi Sodindi from Times Live. From the CEO, you said the division had been without a sponsor and the legacy transfer had to come in. Just want to know for clarity, how long has it been without a sponsor? And maybe in your own, like what was the issue, or why did it take it so long to find a sponsor? What are some of the hardships maybe for the division to find a sponsor?
I must go back and check my. I must go back and check my contract, but from what I remember, I think the contract expired in 2019, the SAB contract. So we haven't had a sponsor since 2019. We've been reliant more, as I said, on the legacy trust that assisted us in that space. It does not mean that we did not stop looking for sponsors. We have been out trying to find sponsors. Like we're saying, at the end of the day, we might look for a sponsor, but if no corporate is interested in coming on board, so there's not much we can do. We can only continue, with the engagements with the corporate world, trying to, encourage them and motivate for sponsors to come on board for the various products that we have. We've got quite a few properties. SAFA has got quite a few properties that we engage various sponsors about, with the hope that someone will get interested in something. And now and again, we find someone like Hollywoodbets. You'll find someone will come on board, be interested in putting money into a certain property that we're working with. So that it really helps us. But there are many properties that we have that are still sponsorless, but like we're saying, we are continuously striving to get more corporates on board, and the space is quite huge. There's many opportunities to come involved, so I highly encourage the corporate market, to come on board. We have the stats, we have the numbers. We can show them, the return on investment, what they stand to gain should they be involved in whatever property that they're involved in, and we are always welcoming those properties. Those corporate sponsors to come on board. Obviously, we'll never say no to someone coming on board, but it is also about what are they putting on the table at the end of the day. We have certain matrices for the different properties that we have. That we use to engage sponsors on, so that if you come with 2 rent but we want 5 rent, then we start negotiating on that and try to find the middle ground. But if you stick to a 2 rent and we want 5 rent because we know the value that's involved, you find that sometimes we don't find each other. But we always go into negotiations with the hope of finding each other whenever someone is interested and puts an offer on the table.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if there's no more question, that will bring this press conference to its conclusion.